What's up, guys? Mr. No Soups back today with another video, and today, guys, I am discussing the most overrated players in the NBA. Now, this video is made in a bit of a rush. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff going on at home right now, guys. I've got to really take care of. But for me, being consistent for you guys is also a huge priority for me. So here we go again with another video. Now, this overrated list, let me make something extremely clear. This is not, I will repeat, this is not saying a player is bad. If someone is on this list that you like, this is not me saying you should no longer like them. This is just me saying I think people have them much higher than they should be. That's it. Not saying they're bad, not saying they suck, not saying they were never good, just saying that they're not as good as people like to say they are. But as always, first, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to hit 600 by the end of this month. So please, 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 we are like 76 or 75 subscribers away from when I'm recording this. So let's go ahead and crush that goal. And as always, guys, this is Mr. No Soups. Let us now discuss the most overrated players in the NBA. And also, quick disclaimer, I understand it's the top 10, but this is not actually ranked in order. Like, these are not me saying this is the most overrated, then this is the second most. It's no order. But as always, let's get into the video. And starting off here, I have Trey Young. Now, the reason I have Trey Young is because I believe at times his playmaking and passing can get extremely overrated in the sense of, listen, when he is not scoring in the playoffs, I believe his playmaking and passing becomes much more limited than a lot of people would like to say that they are. And I think, to be 100% honest with you, when we look at Trey Young's game, for me, I just think he could never truly be the number one option with all the limitations that he has. Not even because of himself, but just because of his frame, his size, etc. And I also just think his decision-making, shooting-wise, a lot of people don't decide to mention, which I think should be very important for a playmaker, but that's a whole different conversation. So to me, when Trey Young is put easily over a guy like John Morant, I've never quite understood that. Because if you're just going off success, I guess, maybe, but I don't quite see where the value in that is, especially when it's team dependent at that point. So to me, Trey Young is one of the most overrated players in the NBA. Again, if you guys watch my top 10 point guards video, I still had him top 5 point guards. Like, to me, he is a lock top 5 at his position. Like, don't get it twisted. It's just, to me, I think people like to put him way higher or clearly above. And to me, I just never have understood that. So for today, I'm sorry, what Trey Young is giving you looks good in the regular season. But coming up now, we have Kyrie Irving. Now, you guys, I've actually been told I'm a LeBron stan all of a sudden, because I mentioned the fact of Kyrie's postseason stats post-Cleveland. But that was never the point of that statement. It was just meant to mean that shot in 2016 and that run in 2016 and 2017 have made people conflate those 2 years to the rest of his postseason career. And when he's just not been as good since. Again, this is not that he's a bad player. It is just, I do not understand. There are a lot of people, casual or not, who will have Kyrie Irving over dudes like Donovan Mitchell. Or hell, they'll be like, why is Kyrie not better than D-Book? Why is Kyrie not a top 3 shooting guard or a top point guard? Because the fact of the matter is, to me, as good of a playmaker as Kyrie can be at times, it's not the most consistent thing. His scoring is good. In the playoffs, it becomes limited. And I think when you need him the most, right? I'm not even going to mention off the court, because to me that's just cheap. That's nothing to do with you as a player. To me, Kyrie is a very, very good player. I just think a lot of people hold on to the past version of Kyrie and not who Kyrie has legitimately been in these last few seasons. So I have Kyrie Irving as well as one of the most overrated players in basketball right now. Now, coming up here is OG Anunoby. Now, this is more of a role player pick, and this next guy after him is also one, but I had to do it because this man's value, either from the Toronto Raptors or from fans in general, I do not think, unless you're on a legit established contender, so like the Bucks, the Celtics, even if he went to a team like the Nuggets, unless he's going to one of those teams where the roster is very, 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 very good, I don't think he's this guy that once you acquire him, you're over the top. I think he's a very good third option. Maybe fourth option, depending on, again, if he's on a team like the Bucks or the Celtics, he might be the fourth option. I just don't think OG Anunoby is necessarily giving you incredible offense to me. And I think his defense is very good, but I don't think it's anything crazy. And I think the value that a lot of people put on him for a lot of these teams in the NBA, I just don't necessarily see it personally. And that's just something that I always get stuck up on. Again, not at all saying he's a bad player. Very, very good role player. No doubt about it. But I don't think he makes half these teams in the league the automatic championship favorite. Coming up here is Evan Mobley. And the reason I say this is defensively, I think he's a little overrated. I think he's a very good defender. But I think part of the reason the Knicks series went the way it did is because of how guards were able to attack Mobley. But, again, that's not all on him because it's the same thing back with like Rudy in his prime. It's like his thing is to be more at the rim / in the paint. My issue is his offensive game is so poor that I'm going to be honest with you. I don't get how a lot of other guys get told, well, their offense is terrible. So, for example, people will talk about like Denny Adia out there in Washington and go, well, his offense is trash. Automatically off the rip. But with someone like Mobley, it's, well, he has this guy and this guy, like Mitchell and Garland. So, therefore, how is he going to really have the touches? You can work out in the summer and get better at offense. Right now, all he is a lob threat and a dunker. He has a little bit of other stuff in his bag, no doubt, but I'm not really seeing all this. He has incredible offensive potential that a lot of people see. And now coming up here is Bradley Beal. Now, Beal himself, again, really good player. I think once he got traded to Phoenix, everyone started hyper-valuing this man as if he's some top 10 player that was just sitting in Washington, and now he's on Phoenix, and they're just unbeatable. No. My issue with Bradley Beal that a lot of people don't talk about, once he stopped scoring the 30 points a game, half the NBA community stopped caring. Immediately. They just stopped. To me, Bradley Beal is a very, very good basketball player. But he is meant to be a second to third option guy. He is not meant to be your first overall option. And when he was, it was cool. You're putting up 30, but you're also one of the worst teams in the league. Now he gets off this team, and people are acting like the Suns just acquired a top 10 player, top 15 player, and he's not in those tiers. People, to me, really, really, really gassed up Bradley Beal once he got traded, and I think it was just to try and make the Suns sound so unstoppable, but I think it's just disingenuous at this point. So to me, Bradley Beal's overrated. Still extremely good, but I just don't get the hype around Bradley Beal when, as a passer playmaker, he's good, for sure, no doubt. Nothing incredible, though. I think he's great off ball. I think he's a good scorer. Defensively, I mean, come on now. And then coming up here, Jrue Holiday. I say this in part for one reason. Two reasons, actually. First, former NBA players cannot keep saying, or even current NBA players cannot keep saying that this man is underrated. If everyone says he's underrated, you're not underrated anymore. Everyone knows that and how good you are. You're an NBA champion. You've been a two-time All-Star. Like, people know you're a good basketball player. To me, Jrue Holiday is overrated because, one, as good as a perimeter defense is, it is just perimeter defense. And as great as that can be, and as good as he is sometimes in the paint, to me, Jrue Holiday's offense in the playoffs is so atrocious, so bad, that in some ways it canceled out how incredible he was defensively. Like, again, he's an incredible player. But first of all, how can everyone call you the most underrated player at that point? You're not underrated if everyone thinks you are. At that point, you are properly rated. You're a good player. You're just not an incredible off-this-earth player. And that's okay. Not everyone can be. So I also have Jrue Holiday. Now I have Kristaps Porzingis. Now this is not even necessarily because of Kristaps himself. Again, it's similar to Bradley Beal. I don't think Porzingis is turning Boston into this instant championship winner. The reasons I say that is because, first of all, how are they going to even utilize Porzingis? Because Porzingis looks the way he does in Washington because he was able to be a primary to secondary ball handler with Kuzma / Beal when Beal wasn't hurt. Also, it's not like Porzingis also doesn't have his own injury issues at times. So it's not even like you got the most, okay, well, you're guaranteed this really good all-star caliber player for 60 games. No, he could give you 50 to 40 if he really gets hurt and then might miss the playoffs. And I don't get how are you even going to properly utilize him in Boston? I think people are kind of just acting like, yeah, he'll just sit in the corner again. That didn't work for him in Dallas. So it's not going to work for him in Boston. So to me, I think he's a little overrated because people are just kind of talking about him as if he's something that he's not. And that's just in terms of who he is as a player, now how good he is as a player. So for me, Porzingis is also on this top 10 list, or 10 names, I guess. I don't even know if you would call it a top 10. And then coming up here is James Harden. I mean, at this point, I think if people really have James Harden as high as they do, it again is a name value thing. It has nothing to do with who he is currently. It is all based off what he used to be. Is he still one of the better playmakers in the league? Yep. Is he still one of the better passers? Yep. Your scoring is extremely inconsistent in the postseason. Your defense, I mean, do we even got to talk about the effort on defense? Hell, do we got to talk about the effort off ball? To me, people still talk about James Harden that on any given day of the week, he'd still be top 15 in his sleep. And I just don't think James Harden is that caliber of player anymore. I don't think he's been that caliber of player for a minute. I think once he messed up his ankle in the Brooklyn playoffs, or around that time in Brooklyn, he has never been the same player. And that's okay. But we just got to stick with the reality of things versus what we like to think things are. James Harden is a good player. It's not great. Now at Jamal Murray. Now, the reason I say that is people are so freaking reactionary. This man, I have seen Twitter go crazy. Talking about this man could be top 15. If he does this again, he's top 10. I don't understand. He's had a great playoffs. Incredible. No doubt. We're not going to act as if he doesn't have injury problems. We're not about to sit here and act like he does not also, even more so, fall in his okay in the regular season. Like, he's a cool regular season player. He's nothing crazy. And if you value both parts of the year, there's no way you could sit there and talk about Jamal Murray in the way that a lot of people do. Again, I think Jamal was at 8 or 7 on my point guards video, and I said he very much so has potential to move up. I just need to see more. That's the issue with the NBA community. Sometimes we take such a small sample, and we set these guys up to fail, and then we try and say, yep, this is who you are. Now, coming up here, I have Tyrese Maxey. Now, Tyrese Maxey to me is more so overrated because people say he clears dudes like Tyler Hero. I used to say Jordan Poole, but to me, I already had Jordan Poole as the weakest of those three guys. Or people will say he's way better than Simons. My thing is, Maxey looks good because he's a third option. If Tyler Hero got to be the third option on his team as an offensive scorer, I think he would look a lot better too. I think he's not that incredible of a passer playmaker. He's okay off ball, nothing crazy. And again, this one is more just, I think, in the conversations he's in terms of, like, again, him or Simons or Maxey or Hero, I don't think he's clearly the best guy of that group. And a lot of people would say that he is. I think it's because he's the third scorer / third option. And he looks really good in it, no doubt. But I think those other guys would also look a lot better. They got to be the third option if they didn't have the priority and responsibility. Like, I don't know how good Maxey would be if he had to be Tyler Hero in the regular season, especially where he's a primary guy for the Heat. I don't see it. But as always, guys, this is Answer No Hoops. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of my list. Who do you guys think is your most overrated player in the NBA? I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. Don't forget, you can join the Discord. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Probably pin comment. I might forget, though. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to hit 600. I have much love for y'all. This video was a lot of fun. I have a top 10 players video, hopefully coming out this Saturday, collaborating with Dream Hoops, my guy. But as always, guys, Have a great rest of your day. This was Amsterdam No Soups. Let me know what you think down below. Peace out. Out.